Hello students, good evening. Welcome back to the class. Okay, as in previous class we are completed the ninth unit soil. So I have sent you the class videos but not sent the notes of that lesson. I will send you in the next class, and half of the syllabus for your midterm exams already completed, and I have told you the syllabus about the A7 test, and out of 9 lessons I have included only 6, and in that I will give you the text questions. Okay, so what are the lessons are there means the lessons which are there for your A7 test are: first one is nutrition in plants, nutrition in animals, and then the third one fiber to fabric, it is not there, and the fourth one heat, and the fifth one acids, bases and salts, and the sixth one physical and chemical changes, it is not for a essay test. Next one is a winds, storms and cyclones. Then the next one is a weather, climate and adaptation of animals to a climate, and lastly soil, and it is not there for your essay1 test. Okay, so all these 6 units are there for your essay1 test. If you have any doubt in these lessons, you can ask me. I will give you the clarification about the concepts. Okay, so in the today's class I will give you the revision on the first topic, that is nutrition in plants. So in this lesson we are going to study about, we have already studied about what are the modes of nutrition. There are 2 types, autotrophs and heterotrophs, and then we have followed by the photosynthesis, and then we have followed the structure of the leaf. So which are the contents present in the leaf, with what the properties or what they can do in the photosynthesis process. And then another mode of nutrition, that is as autotrophs. And then we have next is a parasite and a host, and then we have a dead and decaying animals, means they are the type of plants which depend upon the dead and decaying materials. Such types of plants are called as saprotrophs, and that type of mode of nutrition we call it as a saprotrophic mode of nutrition. And lastly, why these are helpful for the plants. So this is all about the concept that comes under the nutrition in plants. So firstly, the mode of nutrition. So what is the mode of nutrition means which type of plants having the energy taken, means how will they take the energy for their getting of nutrients. There are 2 types of modes as I told. First one is autotrophs, okay, autotrophs, and next one is heterotrophs. So as we all know, or as we already learned from the name itself, auto and hetero. Auto means what? They self-prepare their food. So such a type of plants we call them as autotrophs. Okay, simple. So the plants which prepare their own food, or the organisms which prepare their own food, those are called autotrophs, and that mode of nutrition we call it as a autotrophic mode of nutrition. So the next one is a hetero. It means what? These are the organisms which depend upon another organism or another plant. So such organisms or the plants we call it as a heterotrophs, and that type of a mode we call it as a heterotrophic mode of nutrition. So these are the 2 main types of a mode of nutrition. So mainly the plants, they prepare their own food using sunlight, surrounding carbon dioxide, water, and the main is chlorophyll. That all we call it as autotrophic modes, and this process we call it as a photosynthesis process. Right. So the plants are the best example for autotrophs, and all the living organisms like animals, human beings, insects, birds, these all are the heterotrophs, and they will depend upon the plants for their nutrition. Okay, so what is called a photosynthesis? So this is a process in which the plants prepare their own food using the carbon dioxide, right? Okay, sorry. This is using the carbon dioxide, water, and they will give the oxygen and carbohydrates, but in presence of sunlight and the chlorophyll. this overall process, chlorophyll process, will take in presence of a sunlight. So this is the reaction for a photosynthesis process. Okay, please be remember that here it will produce the carbohydrates. That means necessary for the plant bodies to get a nutrition. Okay, so this is what the photosynthesis process reaction. What is that? Carbon dioxide and the water in presence of a sunlight and a chlorophyll will produce a carbohydrates and a oxygen. Okay, so if I ask the what are the raw materials for the photosynthesis process, you should write carbon dioxide and the water are the main two raw materials required for the plants. Okay, so this is about the photosynthesis. So the next one is how these get their nutrition and how it will all takes place. So this all is taken in the plant body called the leaves. Okay, so these leaves, in the leaves only the plants prepare their food using these all materials, and in these leaves there is a green color pigment that is necessary for photosynthesis, that is present mainly in the leaves. That's why this photosynthesis process takes place here. Okay, and the water and some water minerals which are required for the photosynthesis process, that will all get from the roots of the plant body, and it will absorb the water and it will all supplies to the whole plant body. So this is about the photosynthesis process and where this all takes place. So in the leaves there are two components, stomata are there. So these will help to absorb the sunlight and they will prepare its food. Okay, so you have learned about that, but there is no much question about that in your text exercise. Okay, so the next one is the saprotrophs. So what are saprotrophs? These saprotrophs are nothing but the plants which depend upon another plant or the dead and decaying material for its nutrition, that we call it as a saprotrophs. Okay, so the main is they depend upon a dead and decaying material for the nutrition. Such type of plants we call it as the saprotrophic plants or the saprotrophs. That mode of nutrition we call it as a saprotrophic mode of nutrition. So the example for a saprotrophs are Nepenthes plants. Okay, so the next one is a parasite and a host. Parasite means the plant which has its own food material or which has its own nutrition, and host means the plant which depend upon the parasite for its nutrition. Such type of plants we call it as a host. So the example for a parasites are the brig trees. So these are the example for a parasite, and the host example is a cascata plant, which is a yellow cylinder like a structure and has a curlings in it, and they will depend upon a big trees for their nutrition. Such plants are called as a host plant. Okay, so this is all about a parasite and a host and the saprotrophs. So there is a greenhouse effect, that is the last question in your syllabus. Ask for your test that why do farmers grow many fruits and vegetable crops inside the large greenhouse? This is because when there is in a greenhouse, there is a absorption of a sunlight takes place very hardly, means a large amount of a sunlight will be absorbed in the greenhouse and it will not reflect to the surrounding. Before reflecting to the surrounding, all the greenhouse glasses will absorb that sunlight and that will be again utilized by the plants. That's why from the sunlight there is a much amount or the more number of plants or the vegetables can grow and can be yielded. Okay, so that is the main reason farmers prefer the greenhouses for yielding or growing the vegetables and crop materials inside the greenhouses. So what are the advantages of this greenhouse? Mainly, we cannot depend upon the seasons. Independent of the summer, winter and rainy seasons, we can grow any type of vegetables, crops for the getting the crop yields. That's why it is independent of the seasons and the more yield will be obtained here. That's the why these greenhouses are useful for the farmers. And I hope I have completed all the means I previously told about the exercise part questions. Okay, so if you have any doubt in the exercise questions, you will recall here itself only. First question is why do plants require the nutrition? Why they require the nutrition? So the organisms require the nutrition because to get the energy and should perform the life processes like digestion, nutrition, digestion, respiration, excretion, and this blood circulation. For all these processes, the energy must be required and the nutrition must be required. That is why the nutrition is required for all the organisms. Okay. So what is the main difference between the parasite and the saprotrophs? As in told that parasite they depend upon they prepare its own food and they will sorry students, parasite means the plant which depend upon the host plant. Okay, I think previously I told about the reverse. Not parasite means it climbs on the host plant for the nutrition, and a host is which has a capacity to prepare its own food, that is called as a host plant. Okay, so please be remember parasite means which climb on another plant for its nutrition, that we call it as a parasite, and saprotrophs means the plants which depend upon the dead and decaying materials for its nutrition. Such a type of a plants we call it as a saprotrophs. So the example I given you is the Cascata plant, and here it is a Nepenthes plants. From the insects it will get the nutrition and they will catch and engulf the food in the insects itself. That's why these are the examples of such type of a Nepenthes plants. Okay, sorry. This Nepenthes plant is carnivorous plants, means they are like get a nutrition from the small insects, that is a carnivorous plants. Example for a saprotrophs are fungus and algae. Okay, so they have a power to get, means they have the capacity to get nutrition from the dead and decaying materials. Examples fungus and algae. And I told the carnivorous plants which get a nutrition from the insects, means they will eat they will get the nutrition from the small insects. Okay, so those are carnivorous plants. So the next one is how we test the presence of a starch in the plant bodies. Means by making the iodine test we will confirm that there is a starch material present in the plants. From starch itself we will get the energies. The example rice, wheat and some crop materials, means groceries, like those they are having the starch material in it, and then from the starch itself you will get the nutrition. And there is a question, tell me the plant is for what the ultimate source of energy. For that I have drawn you the, means I have sent you the notes that in that from the soil. Okay, wait. So here it is a diagram showing that from the sunlight the plants will get the energies and they will prepare its food, and that supplies to all the parts of the plant body. From itself we say that the plant is the ultimate source of energy. And if I ask the question like what are the raw materials for a photosynthesis process, then the raw materials are what? Carbon dioxide and water. From that itself they will get the energies. Okay, so some of the fill in the blanks are there, match the following are there, and the true or false are there. I have completed all those in the first class itself. Okay, if you have any doubts after all this, you can ask me. I will clarify all your doubts. Okay, thank you students, and keep watching for the next classes for the revision class for your essay 1 test.